mantras of our Lord Sri Aurobindo. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says, it is the object of my integral yoga to transform life by bringing down into it the light, power and bliss of the divine truth and its dynamic certitudes. This integral yoga is not a yoga of world-shunning asceticism, but of divine life. With always our love and blessings, says our Lord Sri Aurobindo. Sri Aurobindo's Savitri, Book 2, Canto 1, The World's Tale. Once, in the vigil of a deathless gaze, these grades had marked her giant downward plunge, the wide and prone leap of her Godhead's fall. Our life is a holocaust of the Supreme. The great World Mother, by her sacrifice, has made her soul the body of our state. Darshan Day Messages, 21st February 1952, our Divine Mother's birthday. Make of us the hero warriors we aspire to become. May we fight successfully the great battle of the future that is to be born against the past that seeks to endure, so that the new things may manifest and we may be ready to receive them. Words of our Lord Sri Aurobindo, taken from the compilations of our Lord Sri Aurobindo and our Divine Mother, book Our Many Selves. Topic: The Truth of the Being. Our Divine Mother has stated in Question and Answers of 1956 on 22nd August 1956. Our Divine Mother has said, there is something I was asked some time ago to which I have not yet replied. It is this, I have written it here somewhere. The absolute of every being is its unique relation with the divine and its unique manner of expressing the divine in the manifestation. Let me repeat. Our Divine Mother says the absolute of every being is its unique relation with the Divine and its unique manner of expressing the Divine in its manifestation. This is what is called here in India the truth of the being, or the law of the being, the dharma of the being, the center and the cause of the individuality. Everyone carries his truth within himself, says our Divine Mother. Everyone carries his truth within himself, a truth which is unique, which is allowed altogether, which is altogether his own, and which he must express in his life. Now, what is that truth? This is the question I've been asked. Question was, what is this truth of the being and how is it expressed externally in physical life? Our Divine Mother says it is expressed in this way. Each individual being has a direct and unique relation with the Supreme, the Origin, that which is beyond all creation. It is this unique relation which must be expressed in one's life through a unique mode of being in relation with the Divine. Therefore, each one is directly and exclusively in relation with the Divine. The relation one has with the Divine is unique and exclusive, so that you receive from the Divine, when you are in a receptive state, the totality of the relation it is possible for you to have. And this is neither a sharing, nor a part, nor a repetition, but exclusively and uniquely the relation which each one can have with the Divine. So, from the psychological point of view, one is all alone in having this direct relation with the Divine. One is all alone, alone with the Supreme. The relation one has with Him will never have an equal, will never be exactly the same as another's. No two are the same, and therefore nothing can be taken away from you to be given to another. Nothing can be withdrawn from you to be given to another. And if this relation disappeared from the creation, it would really disappear, which is impossible. And this means that if one lives in the truth of one's being, one is an indispensable part of the creation. Our Divine Mother says, naturally, I don't mean if one lives what one believes one should be. I am saying if one lives the truth of one's being, if by a development one is able to enter into contact with the truth of one's being, one is immediately in a unique and exclusive relation with the Divine, which hasn't its equal. There, now. And naturally, because it is the truth of your being, that is what you should express in your life, says our Divine Mother. Next subtopic, the shadow. Our Divine Mother has stated in Question and Answers of 1954, on 3rd Feb 1954, everyone possesses the two opposite tendencies of character, which are like the light and shadow of the same thing. Why are things made in this way? Can't one have only the light? For this, our Lord Sri Aurobindo has given an explanation, and our Lord Sri Aurobindo has stated in Letters on Yoga the difficulties of human nature, and says, yes, if one eliminates the shadow, but it must be eliminated. That does not happen by itself. The world as it is a mixed world. You cannot have an object which gets the light from one side without its casting a shadow on the other. It is like that. And indeed, it is the shadows which make you see the lights. The world is like that, and you have to have only the light. One must definitely go through the entire discipline necessary for eliminating the shadow. This is what I have explained a little further. I have said that this shadow was like a sign of what you had to conquer in your nature in order to be able to realize what you have come to do. If you have a part to play, a mission to fulfill, you will always carry in yourself the main difficulty preventing you from realizing it, so that you have within your reach the victory you must win. Let me repeat what our Lord has said. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says, I have said that this shadow was like a sign of what you had to conquer in your nature in order to be able to realize what you have come to do. If you have a part to play, a mission to fulfill, you will always carry in yourself the main difficulty preventing you from realizing it, so that you have within your reach the victory you must win. If you had to fight against a difficulty which is everywhere on earth, it would be very difficult. You would need to have a very vast consciousness and a very great power. While if you carry in your own nature just the shadow or defect you must conquer, well, it is there within your reach. You see, all the time the effect of this thing and can fight it directly, immediately. It is a very practical organization. Next subtopic, becoming aware of the highest in oneself. Question, sweet mother, how can one become aware of the central will? This was one of the questions asked in the question and answer series of 1954, dated 8th December 1954. For this, our Divine Mother says, this is of course another side of the problem. First of all, one must be aware of what is highest, most true, most universal and eternal in one's consciousness. This is learned gradually. One learns to discern among one's ordinary external movements and the different gradations of the movements of one's inner consciousness. And if one continues to do this with a certain persistence, one realizes what it is that puts this highest part of one's being into motion, which represents the ideal of the being. There is no other way. Sometimes this awake through reading something, sometimes through a conversation, sometimes through more or less dramatic, that is unexpected event, which gives you a shock, shakes you up, brings you out of your usual little rut. Sometimes when you are in a very great danger, suddenly you feel as though you are above yourself and beyond your small habitual weakness, having within you something higher which can hold out against circumstances. Our Divine Mother says such occasions make you enter first into contact with that. Such occasions make you enter first into contact with that. Afterwards, by a methodical discipline, you can make the contact continuous, but usually this takes time. But first, you get it like that suddenly for one reason or another. Then there is a long silence. Then our Divine Mother says, "This may come with a strong emotion, with a great sorrow, and with a very great enthusiasm. When one is called to perform a fairly exceptional action, when one is called upon to perform a fairly exceptional action in circumstances which are little exceptional, all of a sudden one feels something as though breaking or opening within him, and one feels as though he was dominating himself, as though he had climbed up a higher rung, and from there was looking at his own existence with the habitual sees. Once one has this experience, one does not forget, even if only once it has happened, one does not forget it. And one can, by concentration, reproduce the state at will later. This is the first step to cultivate it. Afterwards, one can very easily call up this state each time a decision is to be taken, and then one takes it in full awareness of the implications and foreseeing everything that's going to happen. I don't think there's one individual in the world who hasn't experienced this. In any case, one cultured individual, at least once in his life, something that breaks and opens, and one understands. This seems to astonish you very much to a child. You have never felt this? Says our Divine Mother. You're not sure. The child says, I don't know. When one has had it, one feels that one has begun to live. That before this one did not know what life was. Suddenly one has entered fully into life. This is not forgotten, says our Divine Mother. Next subtopic, witnesses in the being. This is from the question and answers of 1954, dated 15th December 1954. Question, what is the meaning of the mental witness? For this, our Divine Mother says, the witness we have spoken about several times already. Only here it is in the mind. There are witnesses everywhere. It is a capacity of the being to detach itself, to stand back and look at what is happening, as one looks at something happening in the street, or one looks at others playing or does not himself play. One remains seated, looking at others moving but does not move. That's how it is. In all parts of the being, there is one side which can do this, put itself at the back, remain quiet, and look without participating. This is what is called the witness. One has many witnesses inside oneself. One is a witness without even being aware of it. If you develop this, it gives you the possibility of being quiet, not being affected by things. One detaches oneself from them, looks at them at a dramatic scene without participating in it. This does not change things very much though, says our Divine Mother. Next subtopic, need for establishing a relation between the outer and the inner being. These words are from 15th December 1954 from the series of question and answers of 1954. The disadvantage of trance or samadhi is that trance becomes indispensable and the problem of the waking consciousness is not solved. It remains imperfect. Question, sweet mother, waking consciousness is not solved? For this, our Divine Mother says, naturally, because if in order to have a meditation or a relation with the inner world, you are obliged to enter into samadhi, your waking consciousness always remains what it is without ever changing. That's what I said. In other words, you see, when I said that people have a higher consciousness only in a very deep meditation, When they come out of the meditation, they are no better than they were before. All their defects are there, which come back as soon as they come back into their waking consciousness, and they never make any progress because they do not establish a relation between their deeper consciousness, the truth of their being, and their outer being. You see, they take off their outer being as though they were taking off a cloak, and they put it in a corner. Come now, don't trouble me, keep quiet, you are a nuisance. And then they enter into contemplation, their meditation, into the deep existence, and then they come back, put on the cloak, of course, which has not changed, perhaps dirtier still than before, as they remain exactly as they were without any meditation. Our Divine Mother says, if you want the outer being to change, if you want the outer being to change, it is while remaining conscious of it that you should have the other experiences. You must not lose contact with your ordinary outer consciousness if you want to profit by the experience. There are many people like that who used to meditate for hours almost all the time, and then if someone disturbed them in the meditation, they had to do something. They flew into a rage, fury, and they abused everybody, became intolerable than if they had even meditated than an ordinary person. This happened because they neglected making their outer being participate in the deeper life. They cut themselves into two. So there is a portion inside which progresses and a portion outside which becomes worse and worse because it is completely neglected, says our Divine Mother. Next subtopic, need for perfecting the instruments of consciousness. These are taken from 15th Jan 1951 from the question and answers of our Divine Mother. Our Divine Mother says there are two things to be considered, consciousness and the instruments through which consciousness manifests. Let us take the instruments. There is the mental being which produces thoughts, the emotional being produces feeling, the vital being produces the power of action, the physical being that acts. The man of genius may use anything at all, make something beautiful because he has genius, but this genius, a perfect instrument, he will make something wonderful. Take a great musician, even with a wretched piano and missing notes, he shall produce something beautiful. But give him a good piano, well tuned, he will do something still more beautiful. The consciousness is same in either case, but for the expression, it needs a good instrument, a body with mind, mental, vital, psychic, and physical capabilities. If physically you are badly built, badly set up, it is difficult for you, even with good training, to do gymnastics as well as with a beautiful, well-built body. It is the same with the mind. One who has been well-organized mind, complex, complete, refined, will express himself much better than one who has a rather mediocre or badly organized mind. First of all, you must educate your consciousness, become conscious of yourself, organize your consciousness according to your ideal, but at the same time, do not neglect the instruments which are in your body. Our Divine Mother says, what is higher in the consciousness which enables you to make the right movement at the right moment, but it is not exclusive. When you seek perfection, you must not neglect the one under the pretext that you have the other, says our Divine Mother.